and welcome to I'll Sip to That. If anyone is new to I'll Sip to That, let me just explain briefly what Sip to That is. Sip to That is an interaction of conversation where us ladies, we sit around, we talk about different subjects, we talk about current agendas, current things that are happening in the news, and we bring it to you. We, of course, give our opinion, which is normally right, correct. Even though it's our opinion, it's always right. So it is what it is. But if you as a sipper are not in agreement to what we were talking about, you just put your little glass down and you just tell us, I don't give a sip. But if you are in agreement, we want you to raise your glass and say, I'll sip to that. It's just that simple. And by the end of the show, our main objective is to have an empty glass, just to allow you to refill it again. And our special guest, we have two special guests today, but the special one that we are sipping on today is what, Jazz?
Riscato, my absolute favorite.
Yes, this is our choice for tonight.
And I think I need a refill.
I'll give you a refill. You're definitely gonna need one before this is over. But this is our special guest of drink of choice for tonight. So we hope this bottle is gonna be empty before we leave the set. But again, thank you for tuning into I'll Sip to That. We have truly missed you guys, but we are here. So thank God for that.
Thank God for that.
I know you guys see the fourth person sitting at the bottom of the screen there, and that is our special guest that we are going to be introducing on this evening. And I will turn that over to my girl Sashay to do the honors of welcoming our guest.
Hey sippers, we missed you a lot and we're so excited to be back. So being that we back, we do have a special guest today, and hopefully, you're able to sip with us. If you don't give a sip, again, you don't have to sip. It's that simple. But with our special guest, especially with everything going on right now in the world and the election and all the crazy stuff, hopefully he can give us a little insight and give us the tea on what's really going on and educate us as well. All right, so for our special guests, we have Preston A. Page. He is from Newport News, is a registered Virginia lobbyist for a government relations firm located in Richmond, and owner of the Monarch Group LLC, which is a consulting research firm that focuses on helping businesses, organizations and individuals navigate through various government processes, as well as modernize businesses, models, and strategies. Preston graduated from Old Dominion University, shout out to ODU.
Okay, Monarchs.
With a degree in criminal justice, and he likes to enjoy his time by eating good food, relaxing with friends and family. And now his hobby is sipping to that.
Yes, yes. Welcome, Preston.
Welcome, Preston.
Hey, y'all. How are y'all?
Great. How are you?
Good.
Now, I know a lot of our sippers may not have heard what was going on prior to us coming on, but there was in the background, there was a bunch of noise. Tell us what's going on and where you're at.
All right. Well, I came to the office to come talk with y'all. Just the lighting in the ambiance is a little nicer, but they're having a protest outside, so they kicked it off with some trumpets and. And then we heard some people just kind of turning up, charging up, and I think they're on their way to probably go spray paint some stuff. So
Wait a minute. Are these Trump stirs or they're for Biden? Biden stirs.
That doesn't matter.
I'm not sure. They kind of loud. So I mean, who knows?
Wow.
It's a little bit of everything here in Richmond.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Well, stay safe in your place while you're, taking your time to come out and talk to us. But while we have you here, I want you to explain to people exactly what you do in the company that you created. Is Monarch
Group.
Monarch Group. the Monarch Group. So explain to everyone exactly what the Monarch Group is.
For my day job and my career, I'm a lobbyist, and basically what lobbying is doing, what lobbying is we're basically that liaison between business and advocacy in government. Government is definitely a very unique and complex place to navigate. And there's three levels of government: the federal, state, and local. So we help companies that are regulated or who sell to the government navigate through legislation. We monitor legislation for them that's going to affect their businesses in good ways or bad ways, and educate them about the process and what we can do to kind of serve their best interests, as well as we help companies sell to the government. We have a number of companies whose sole line of business is government customers. That's where you hear the term procurement a lot. So we help companies get government contracts, and it's pretty fun. It's every day's different, and I love it. It's my passion. So working in my job, I kind of like was wondering like, how do I democratize lobbying? There's a lot of Black-owned businesses, and there's a lot of minority-owned businesses and smaller businesses who deserve that level of expertise that we provide our clients at my day job. So I created the Monarch Group to kind of democratize lobbying, make the services available to smaller businesses and minority-owned businesses, and it's pretty successful for the most part. We helped a daycare get licensed and certified. That client is pretty happy. We also helped a couple nonprofits get started and work through that process of getting their 501c3 status. So that's what we do. Government research. We help companies get certified as small women and minority owned businesses. We do research. Help I mean, it's anything pertaining to government. Uh, uh, we do it. Like I got some stop signs put in for my neighborhood. Wow. Yeah, so like
sipping today. Go ahead.
So like that, and it's fun for me just to kind of see my clients both at my day job and privately, see government work for them in processes that they really don't understand. And so educating them and getting to an end through a process is really rewarding, and I'm glad that I started my company.
That's amazing.
Amazing. And how did you find this knack? Like, what made you know this was your thing and this is what you wanted to do?
Well, I mean, Dom knows I was a little knucklehead in school, so like I've always had a obsession with rules because I kind of broke a lot of them. So when I went to school, I wanted to be a cop, and that didn't work out, thank God. But and when that didn't work out, I was like, how can I feel my love for law and regulations and policy? And I started getting involved in politics, and I worked in government, and it was kind of feeding it was feeding that regulatory standpoint. But I've always been an entrepreneur minded person, and I've always liked business. So I was like kind of thinking around about 24, when I was 24, like, how do I merge my business and government? And I talked to a few mentors, and I didn't even know about lobbying. It was never exposed to me when I was younger. So he gave me a person to talk to who's currently my boss and a partner of our firm. And lobbying is basically, it feeds both of my animals that I have inside. It helps me feed my entrepreneurial business animal and my regulatory law animal. And it allows me to meet a lot of people, experience new things, and most importantly, learning every day. I mean, government moves very quickly and it changes all the time. It's an evolving industry, always ever evolving. So it keeps you on your toes, and that's pretty much it.
That's all. That's a lot.
That's a very lot.
And that is so
that's
awesome.
The Capricorn in you.
What did you say, Sashay?
So that's the Capricorn in him.
Oh, you're a Capricorn?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. December 25th.
That. I'll sit to that. I am also a Capricorn, so I do understand that entrepreneurship in you, that drive, because we're just that type of people. Seriously, we are.
What are you sipping on?
Oh.
Yeah, we didn't even see what you're sipping on.
So today, I know I brought.
Oh, not the bottle.
I brought a.
That's a gold bottle.
So, I mean, we got to do it right. So
absolutely. Well, we always tell our sippers, it doesn't matter what you're sipping to, just as long as you're sipping to that. So it doesn't matter. But I mean, just what you're doing, I think, is an awesome thing. I think there's so many people that can benefit from what you're doing, what you're offering, the education that you can give to them. And there are so many people that I have, crossed in my time that have wanted to do the 501(c)(3), but it's so complicated because I know it's very word specific. You have to have like every T cross and I dotted to make sure that it's filled out exactly the way it needs to be done. But how difficult is it basically to putting that together and formulating that together for someone to be able to get their 501(c)(3)?
Well, it's a process. It's a process, and I wouldn't say it's difficult. It's tedious. So first things first is you want to have a mission to your 501(c)(3), but the IRS code 501(c) has different subsections of that code where an organization can fit under. So you got 501(c)(2)s, C3s, C4s. The most common is 501(c)(3), which is a charitable organization that's dedicated to religious, educational, and another word in the code section. But when you go about that process, first thing is you want to have a board. Your board doesn't have to be big. It could be 5 people, 7 people. It's just depending on who you want to make sure you manage that 501(c)(3) effectively. Though a lot of people get board members and they're just names on the paper. You want to really, my advice is you really want to think about who you want on that board, because you want an organization that's quite frankly going to outlive you, and if you're not able to handle the day-to-day, you want to have people who have capacity and competency to run your organization for you. And you want to make sure that those contingencies and that protocol and that process is outlined in your bylaws and your operating agreement and any other subsequent agreements and policies that you put in place to that 501(c)(3). A lot of people get caught up when we're applying for tax exempt status, and that's the main reason why you start a 501(c)(3) is to get tax exempt status. Mm-hmm. And those who donate to that 501(c)(3) can write that donation off on their taxes, which is attractive definitely to business owners and those who are just trying to lower their taxable income. So applying for the tax exempt status, you gotta make sure you got all your ducks in a row, and once they process it, that's not the end all be all. You have to have infrastructure in place and processes in place that keep track of finances, money going in, money going out, making sure board members aren't benefiting from the 501(c)(3), things like that, so you don't get in trouble by the IRS after you get your tax exempt status, and that you're filing the necessary documents so you don't lose your 501(c)(3) status.
Zippers, that was free information.
For the information. Okay.
Information.
No need to embezzle. No need for fraudulent activity.
None. However, we do want you need, extra consulting. Okay, I want you to reach out to his agency and let him know what your needs are, because that is definitely something. I mean, it's there. There's so many grants I know about, honestly, because a lot is hidden, and if you don't go search for it, you would never know that it's there. But those things are accessible to us, and I believe with Monarch Group, you'll be able to get the information that you need. So you need to hit Preston up, and before we end the show, he will let you know exactly how to get in touch with him. And then we will also put it at the end of this video as well. Now, I'm not trying to get off that subject, but our time is limited. But I heard you say that you kind of dibble dabble in a lot of different things, and, you like to feed your animal. So I know, looking at some of your photos on Instagram, you have, I'm not going to say that you work beside Governor Northam, but I've seen you take pictures with him. So what kind of connection do you have with the governor of Virginia?
Oh, well, Governor Northam, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. I don't work for him. I've never worked for him. I did work in the same building as the governor. Right before I became a lobbyist, I worked in DGS, which is Department of General Services, and I was a part of the team that trained procurement officers. And I was on the 6th floor, and the governor's staff is on the 2nd and 3rd floor, I believe. And so I saw them all the time. I saw his staff all the time, and they're my friends. And I do a lot of work with historic preservation, and that's something that the governor and Miss Pam Northern, his wife, is interested in. And we've talked and had conversations and got to know each other. And he's a great guy. I never really I think I asked to take a picture with him once, but the other pictures is just mutual admiration for each other. And Virginia's small. Virginia politics is pretty small, so it doesn't really take long to get to know people. And our elected officials are pretty accessible. Even the governor. I mean, his house is. I mean, I could walk to his house right now. It's less than 5 minutes away. And yeah, Governor Northam's cool, but he's about to be out the door. We're about to have an election next year for a new governor, and that's definitely going to be an exciting time for the Commonwealth and an opportunity for people to get engaged in that transition.
Wow, that's awesome.
It really is. Now, since we're kind of like on the subject of elections and we're in that time right now, are you able, because I know, with SIP to that, see, we're not governed under any type of entity, so we could say whatever the heck we want to. But I know you have certain things that you can't disclose because of the position that you hold. But are you able to say whether or not you are Republican or Democrat?
If I were to run for office tomorrow, I will be a Democrat. I voted Democrat. But with that being said, I have friends, good friends on the Republican side of the aisle. I respect most of the Republicans, and I understand that we are in a two-party system, and we need two parties to kind of make this thing work, because it's all built on compromise. And today's climate kind of loses fact of that and sight of that, because everything's so polarized. But when you're in government and you know the intricacies of it and how it moves and what it takes to be efficient, you get relationships on both sides of the aisle. And at the end of the day, we're all people. And a lot of people say, oh, Republican, they toot their nose up. And then you got people who say, oh, Democrat, and they toot their nose up. But I have a different view of the system. And so I remain objective. I don't try to get lost in all of the bickering and polarization. I keep it objective, because at the end of the day, money got to move.
I would definitely sit to that.
So I do have a question regarding that, though. So with you and some of your friends being on opposite sides, do you ever find yourself almost being persuaded by their thoughts, or do you just stand back and just listen and kind of just consider what they're saying?
I wouldn't say persuaded, but changing of perspective all the time. I might have one way of thinking about a certain policy or piece of legislation until I might hear someone on the other side from rural Virginia, which how you run a government in a metropolitan city and how you run a government in a rural part of Virginia is two totally different things. And how my policy, thinking my way, would affect those who live in the western part of the state, and actually listening and hearing that person out. Yes, your perspectives evolve, your positions evolve, and that's the beauty of it all. Because at the end of the day, you got to think about how big Virginia is, and we have to make sure policies promote the health and well-being and the prosperity of not just metropolitan cities, but also rural counties and rural towns, so everybody can win. Short answer, yeah.
I wish that was so with everyone that I thought was my friend. Let me tell you something. I just found out I had a friend, and it's probably more, but this one was real noticeable. But I had a friend so 18 plus years, and she's a Republican. I'm a Democrat, but we never ever shared our views on anything dealing with the election, politics. We just don't discuss it. So this year, really, I just found out she was Republican. But I noticed that she deleted me off of her Facebook page. And, I felt some kind of way because I'm like, you just as fake as this mole that I have on my face. Like, see, I actually put this mole up here. But she's just as fake as this mole. And it made me feel some kind of way because I'm thinking we're cool. I haven't done anything to you. I haven't said anything to you. So now my mind is kind of racing like, well, why would you take me off of there? Are there things that you feel like?
Her page she probably, just did her page a spam or whatever, and you were the one who got deleted.
No, ma'am. And I know that's not true because I have some other Democratic friends that she also took off of her page. So no, we're not going to give her that, but it's okay because one thing I have appreciated about 2020, we asked for clear vision and we got it. We were really able to sip to it. We were able to see who people really, really are and their true colors.
I mean, it's a good thing that she did. I honestly don't think it was a bad thing because we can have different opinions and different views, like Preston said, but like if you kind of don't agree with me or we're not on the same page and we're not, why are you following me? Like you think this, I think that, and instead of us bickering and arguing, let's follow each other.
I wouldn't bicker and argue though. I'm not going to do that.
I mean, some people shouldn't talk about politics.
Right.
Well, they always say two things you're not supposed to talk about is what religion and politics.
You're going to have your perspective and I'll have mine. However, if it cringes you that bad that you have to unfollow me,
that's the personal problem, I think, for her. And I think
religion and politics.
That's like someone who's an atheist that, deletes all these, posts and things like that because I'm a Jesus lover. Well, then if you have to go, then you should go because that's what's on my page.
Yeah. And and you're right. But my thing was, I never said anything. I didn't
trigger her. Is that when
I didn't post anything at that time. But what made my mind go, because Preston, you might be able to agree with this. Us Capricorns, like our minds can go and create a whole scenario of something that just happened.
And nothing happened.
And it may not have, but in my mind it did. So to me, I felt like
that?
She
said Biden.
Yes. But in my mind, I felt like, oh, you wanted to actually go up on your page and say a lot of hateful stuff. Is that the reason why?
She may not
you didn't want me to see that?
You never know.
It offended me. That offended me in my mind. Because I saw
it. It may not have had anything to do with you.
No.
She was like, you know what? I'm going to go off because I love Trump and I want to take these people off so that I don't ruin any friendship.
It's ruined though, because I felt some kind of way.
Well, it sucks that she threw away an 18-year friendship for a one-term president. So
yes, I was gonna say that.
I'll sit to that. Oh my God. Yes. And I'm so over all this. How do you feel about the election and everything that's going on with the recounting of the votes and all of that stuff?
I mean, it's a hot mess. It's a hot mess. I mean, unpopular opinion. Although I'll watch Donald Trump's whole term, from him coming down the escalator and everything in between until now, and these it's like 68 days or whatever left until January 20th.
Yes.
And one thing I must say is I'm thankful for Donald Trump. I'm thankful that it took him to get so many people engaged in the process. And
I will stick to that, Preston.
And it took him to also show people how government, especially at the high levels, actually work, and who pulls the strings,
right,
and what they really care about, and so that's that. I'm happy it's over, and I'm happy the temperature is changing. Yes. But I'm also happy that it also kind of awakened that brushing our racist history under the rug, and it kind of made that a conversation.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think that's a conversation that this nation has to have.
Yes.
And hopefully we can heal from it, and hopefully we can become a more perfect union and grow from it.
Yes.
So it's an exciting time. I'm not opportunistic. I'm optimistic. Yes. I am optimistic of the future, and I hope people stay engaged. I hope they start getting engaged more in the state side of things, because that's more important, and even on the local level as well, because that's the nuts and bolts of government. The local level is where really the rubber meets the road, and where policy affects lives directly. And I really hope people, especially our people, get engaged in the process. And I'm definitely here to help anybody who wants to learn more about the process, get more engaged.
I love it. Thank you. Because I was just about to ask you, what do you think we're going on from here? But you pretty much summed that up. And we're all aboard, and we're all looking for, I'm assuming, the same thing.
Right.
And excited about this new time and this new chapter, and a new commander-in-chief that actually cares about the people. And I did mention something on my page. I'd rather have someone with a heart than just a pulse, because that's exactly what Ronald, he was just a pulse. He didn't have a heart for anyone. So I couldn't even sip to that. I constantly poured my wine out like he was a dead president already, you know. I was already turning up in my glasses. But, you know, it is what it is. I'm not going to go on with this guy, because I might lose more people and endorsements. I don't need to be doing that. But before we go, I do want to play a game with all of you, not just you, Preston, my fellow sippers. And you guys too, everybody that's watching live, go ahead and fill up your glasses or whatever you're drinking, and play along. And I will make it a contest. Whoever gets the most correct, and you have to answer them immediately when I ask the question, people that's watching. If you get the most correct, we will send you a prize on behalf of I'll Sip to That. Okay. Now, so I'm going to ask you guys a few questions. They're all going to be related to politics and presidents and things of that nature. So, yes, before if you get it wrong, you have to sip to that. So I want all of your answers first before I tell you exactly who's right or who's wrong. Contestants, are you ready?
Ready.
Okay. Who was the presidential candidate with the biggest margin in victory? Was it A, Obama, B, Biden, C, James Monroe, or D, Abraham Lincoln? I'll start with you, Jazz.
D, Abraham Lincoln.
Sashay?
What was the question again?
Who was the presidential candidate with the biggest margin in victory?
I'm going to say B. Who was B? Biden? I'm going to go with B.
Preston?
I'm gonna go with Biden because I think he winning by like 5 million votes.
I need all of you to sip to that because you are incorrect. So go ahead and drink. Go ahead and drink. The correct answer was C, James Monroe. He won every electoral vote with the exception of just one. Just one. You know how
that's what's up, Mr. Monroe.
Yes, go James Monroe. Okay, next question. Why is the Republican symbol an elephant and the symbol of the Democrat Party a donkey? Is it because A, Republicans are fat? B, because someone from the Democratic Party was called a jackass and they ran with it? Or C, because it divided the red states and the blue states? I'm going to start with Preston.
Can you read the answers again, please, Ms. Wheeler?
A, because Republicans are fat. B, because someone from the Democratic Party was called a jackass and they ran with it. Or C, because they divided the red and blue states.
I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with C.
Okay, Sashay.
C.
You said C?
C,
okay.
Yes.
B. Because that was my question too.
Okay, I need for Preston and Dominique to sip to that because your answers were incorrect. The answer is B.
Jackson, the paper.
Yes, Andrew Jackson. Here's the answer, you guys. Andrew Jackson, the founder of the Democratic Party, was called a jackass, and he ran with it.
Right.
And he embraced it. So the Democratic Party became the donkey. And of course, the Republicans became the elephant, and it was a symbol of the Civil War, which they're trying to do now. But anyway, y'all glass. Are you drinking, Preston? Okay.
I mean, I got a little left.
Okay. 2 more questions to go. What is the longest time between presidential elections and the announcement of the winner of the contest? They called it a contest. Was it A, 1 year? B, 6 months, or C, 2 months? The longest time that it took for an election to be announced. Was it A, 1 year, B, 6 months, C, 2 months? We're gonna start with Sashay.
I'm gonna go with B.
6 months, okay. Preston?
I'm gonna go with 2 months.
C?
I'm gonna go with 6 months.
I need all of you to pick up your drink and sip to that because you are incorrect. It lasted
a year.
I gotta get one right.
We all gonna get one. It lasted 1 whole year. Hey. 1 whole year. It went for the following March before they found out exactly who was the next president.
Oh my God. We
lost someone. Okay, here she goes. She's back. Okay, you guys, one more question before the bonus question. Why are elections held on Tuesday?
Oh, I know this.
Is it because Sundays were for church? Mondays were the day of travel? Or because Congress passed the law? Jasmine.
C.
Sashay.
Read the answers again.
Because Sundays were for church, because Mondays was a day of travel, because Congress passed the law.
C.
Preston?
It's B, for a fact.
Preston, I need you to raise your glass because you are incorrect. It was because Congress passed the law.
It was a travel day.
No. That wasn't the correct answer. I need you to look it up.
I knew that answer.
It was because Congress passed it into law.
Wait, isn't that what I said?
Dom, no, you said, oh yeah, I'm sorry. Preston got it wrong. You got it right. And here's the final sip to that question. In the 2020 election, did Biden or Trump win this election? Dom.
According to Trump, we don't know who won the election, but I'm going to go with Biden.
Preston.
Biden.
And Jasso Harlem.
Kanye.
Jason, I need you to sip to that. Kanye wasn't even out there. Of course, Biden.
Yes, he was.
Of course, Biden has won the election. Everybody raise your glass. Woo!
And if you don't like it,
Biden. Yes, that was awesome. And if you're sippers and you're watching and you got just about all of those right, we will check and see and send you an awesome gift. Yes. Well, you guys, our time is limited, so it is time to say goodbye. Preston, we thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you, Preston.
It was a blast.
Yes, thank you for all the information. Thank you for being a source that could help a lot of people who don't know and that's not informed. So we want you to give your information so they'll know exactly how to find you and reach out to you if they so desire your services.
Well, I'm Preston Page, and you can reach me on Instagram and Twitter at Uptown Preston, and my company is the Monarch Group. And when you look at my Instagram, it's a link to my company's page, and I don't bite. You can always DM me, and I follow back. Even though Dominique and Jazz kind of get mad at me.
I got you today. I don't like people telling me what to do. Like you didn't
cannot do it.
But I know you don't like rules, so
that's what
I got you today. I can't tell y'all what you said to me, but hey, we finally met.
But yeah, it's Uptown Preston, and thank you, ladies, for having me on. And let's do this again when it's the election for governor.
Absolutely. Yes. You better do it.
Yes.
You better do it. All right, sippers, we thank you guys for joining us again. We will be back next week. So just stay tuned. Do you ladies have anything that you want to say?
Wear your mask, social distance, back up.
Get ready back for lockdown.
Stay safe.